Welcome to PoPolitickin.com, your number one source for hip-hop without the politics. PoPolitickin is Yo MTV Raps meets Reading Rainbow meets Dr. Phil or something like that. Follow PoPolitickin on all social media at PoPolitickin. That's at PoPolitickin.
PoPolitickin.com.
Hey everyone, I'm Luci, and this is PoPolitickin.
I'm screaming, you're bleeding. I'm numb to every feeling. I tell myself it's just a dream. Now your heart ain't beating. Can't find a pulse, no breathing. I tell myself it's just a dream. Oh, your blood is slipping through my fingers, but it's in the back of my car. Oh my God. And now I'm making my escape to bury all my sins in the dark. In the dark. I tell myself it's just a dream. I tell myself it's just a dream. No grieving, I'm needing redemption from my demons. I tell myself it's just a dream. So filthy and greedy, what will become of me? I tell myself it's just a dream. Your blood is slipping through my fingers, but it's in the back of my car. My car. And now I'm making my escape to bury all my sins in the dark. In the dark. I tell myself it's just a dream. I tell myself it's just a dream.
Welcome back to PoPolitickin.com, your home for music meets self-help. Make sure you go on Google Play, Spotify, Apple Music, type in PoPolitickin. Listen to some of our interviews since 2011. 1212 and Place to Be with Luci. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm great. I hear you're a savage, a wife, and a mom.
Yeah, you've been looking at my Instagram?
Yeah, I'm on it right now.
Oh, yes, that is me.
So how did you get involved with music?
I have been singing my whole life, and as far back as I remember, starting with the Disney movies back in the day. But I didn't really start performing until I was my first public performance outside of the playground in front of my friends was at 14, and that's really where I feel the most at home. And I recently took a 6.5 year break away from performing and writing and doing all the stuff that I'm doing now, and just returned earlier this year. So it's really been a lifelong journey, and this is the thing that I've always seen myself doing.
So what made you take a 6-year break?
Oh man. So interestingly, we moved from Nashville, Tennessee to LA in 2012 so that I could pursue my music career. And after I had been super active in Nashville, traveling to LA for award shows and events and things like that. And then when 6 months after we moved to to LA, I was like, I need to take a break. I don't know. I was just feeling burnt out. I felt like I wasn't sure what I wanted to sing about, what I wanted to say, like what my voice was. I was just tired of doing it. And I felt like it was really owning me instead of me being clear about what I wanted out of it. Um, and during that time, a lot of really deep stuff, um, a lot of big stuff happened, and I got to work on some really deep things within myself that have allowed me to come back into this music creation space in a really powerful way. I had a couple more kids, so we had 2 kids, and then we had 2 more, and then my husband had some weird mystery injuries, and the VA couldn't figure it out, and he went through a couple of years of depression and disability, and I started doing coaching. I started trying to figure out how to first help myself. That's when I really got deep into the self development and personal growth, transformational events, all that stuff. And in finding my own breakthroughs, I was able to help other people, create theirs. And so I've been very heavily involved in the personal development and speaking and coaching world for the last several years, which is interesting because now all of my old clients and the people that I have, supported through their journeys, they get to see me fully pursue mine.
I said, what makes you a savage?
Oh man, there's something very, for as long as I can remember, there's been this, it's almost like I wanted to be in the jungle. I don't know how else to say it. Maybe it's because my father was just really strange dude. He was he would go in a jungle. He had like a pet liger at one point. He had a snake. I have a python now. I just grew up with all kinds of weird exotic pets, and I just remember feeling free, in that kind of environment where I could be a little more primal and just like, I don't know, I think there's just something very deeply human about being in that primal state, if you know what I mean. Um, Not to take away from any of the self awareness and the development, and all of that. But actually, I think when you marry the two of them together, like we allow ourselves to get to unleash and to just be free and be wild and take the risks and things like that. Applying that to modern day living is what makes it really powerful for me.
Okay. So yeah, I saw your video. You dressed up like a lion. You was naked too, huh?
Yeah, I was in the tiger body paint.
Yeah.
Well, technically, I was wearing a G-string, but for video purposes, yeah, I like being free. People tell me, they're like, "You like being naked, don't you?" I was like, "Hell yeah, I do." I mean,
Yeah, then I saw you was on
much
the
as I can.
It looked like you talking about a lunch break or something.
Yeah, yeah. We like to go to the nude beach. I think we might be low key nudists. I don't know, but we like it.
So then, so what's the goals with the music now?
Well, it's still the same big vision that I've had my whole life, is performing worldwide in front of millions and millions of people. But more so, it's beyond that. I think I had this image in my head growing up, like of me performing in front of a bunch of people. Like I'm on the stage and there's like all these people. But what really compels me now is like these stories that I hear from people. I get a message from a single mom who's like, "Hey, I was there's this man that I really am like, we're kind of we're friends. We kind of want to take it to the next level, but I don't know, and I'm really scared. I don't want to say anything. I don't want to share with them what's on my heart." And she's like, "But you shared this thing in this one post, and I just did it. I went for it, and we've been dating for this many weeks now." And I'm like, "Oh shit," And she's like, "It's been like 8 years since I've been on a date." But I hear these stories from people where they get out of their comfort zone, and it's like people are just waiting for someone to give them permission to do what they already know in their hearts they want to do. And that is that's what excites me the most about doing all of this in music again is actually impacting people's lives. Yeah, I love shaking my ass on stage. I love singing and belting it out and doing all this stuff and the wardrobe changes and just having fun. I feel most like myself in that element. And what's super cool is that I know there's this rippling impact that it's so much bigger than just myself.
I would say, so what? I don't know. Why do you think people need somebody like validation like that? I guess it's kind of like programming because, like, school is like,
Yeah.
you can do stuff. Let's teach say you can do it.
Yeah, it's like, go ahead, you can do it now. No, go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, what about so then? What are some of your personal development like books you like or topics you like to read about?
Oh my God. I should look in my Audible library right now and tell you some of my personal recommendations. Dude, I've like I said, when I was going through this big hell in my marriage and in my family, I I just wanted I just wanted to change it, and there was so much resistance, there was so much resentment. I was like, why the hell is this happening? What can I do? I felt really helpless and hopeless and stuck, and I didn't know where else to turn. I was going online. I was looking up Tony Robbins videos, and I would listen to his voice in my head, and every day as I would walk around the cliffs over here in San Diego with my two youngest kids. They were just babies in the double stroller, and that was my chance of the day to like input all of this information that would help me get through the day. And just things like, life isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. And I'm like, Tony, you need to speak to me because I need it today. But then I got into audiobooks, podcasts, all that stuff. And I read more books than I can count. I think I have 4 different Audible libraries because I had to have all these different memberships to get 2 to 3 books a week. So let me see. I'd have to say that one of the fundamental books that were simple but really mindset shifting. Let me see. Well, this isn't okay. So this one is a book. It's an audio, so people can actually listen to this one on Audible. But Brene Brown. Have you heard of her?
No.
Oh my God! Oh, okay? There's a whole world of Brene Brown. So now you gotta check it out. There's this audio called "The Power of Vulnerability," and she's written a lot of books that are also on Audible. But that audio I listened to 9 times, and it just radically changed the way that I approach my relationships. Saw myself, all of that stuff. She talks a lot about shame and being enough and getting vulnerable instead of trying to force our way through things. So the power of vulnerability was a really powerful audio.
Yeah, send it to me.
Lots of business books.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, I'll send that to you. She's also got one called Braving the Wilderness that was really great. I also got into a lot of business strategy books, so there's a lot of business books in my library. But some fun books like the Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. That one was fun. And let's see. Gosh, I have a lot of other business things. But basically anything that got into more of the heart of things. I didn't really connect with anything that was too brainy, as far as personal development goes. Like I want the strategy, yeah, but I want to feel different. I wanted to feel better. And that's why I think, Tony's audios spoke to me because he understood human emotion.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll send you that one. I think you'll really enjoy that and her style and just her as a lady.
Yeah, I would say and I met you at that West Coast Podcast Expo. So how was it for you?
That was fun. It was my second time at the expo. I went to the one they had a few months ago, and it just seems even more focused and organized, and I enjoyed it. Made a lot of great connections and saw some familiar faces too.
And what do you say is next for your career?
Ooh, so this year I have been laying a lot of foundation, doing a lot of writing, releasing music, and getting ready to release another album next year. So the album is next, but really what I want along with that is more licensing things to come through. Meaning, film and TV and ads, things like that. We have a lot of music in libraries now,
Hmm.
in publishing libraries, but nothing has been placed. So that is something that I'm actively working on this entire year, just trying to figure out how to get my foot in the door. And we're getting closer. We're getting closer. So the album's next. I've got a single coming up of the first single of the album officially with the music video, which is the one I wore the tiger paint in. That'll be in January, and I'll have some little Christmas tunes and things like that sprinkled in between now and then.
Then how would you describe your sound to people?
Oh, that's a good one. So I have a lot of different influences, and I don't think you'll be able to pinpoint them when you just hear me, but when I point them out, people are like, oh yeah, oh I see that. So musically, I it's like a hybrid of pop, Latin, and R&B. So you take some of the lyrical content, like pushing the envelope, but also kind of dark, kind of moody, of like artists like Rihanna or Billie Eilish or Halsey. Um, I've also had big influences by Christina Aguilera, which people can tell in my vocal style. Shakira and J Lo, all these like powerful, sexy women. So that's what I always wanted to give myself permission to be like that. Um, and musically, I tend to intertwine some of the Latin, my Latino background in some songs, not all songs, but it's definitely more of like a modern pop sound.
Are you Latina?
Yeah, I'm from Peru originally.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna say, you be talking about J Lo, but man, I was watching this video by J Lo. Like she has a lot of ghostwriters in her music. Like she doesn't sing a lot of stuff. Like I know she do the
Yeah,
second part, but that singing, she has a lot of ghostwriters, a lot of
yeah,
ghost
yeah.
singers. It's like people like she's not singing a lot of those songs.
Yeah, it's a very collaborative thing, and I know everybody has their own style, but like I write all my music, and I like to be very hands on
Yeah.
with the whole thing and the wardrobe and all that, and really express. Because for me, it's all about expressing myself when I'm going through all those things. I want to show the not just the pretty side and my light, but I also want to show people the dark and let them connect with that in themselves too.
Okay. Shit. What
Yeah.
else do you want to talk about? What are your interests? So you was kind of talking about, I know you have the family and see you working out, but what are some of your interests outside of music? I see
I
you
love
like
nature.
the working out and stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah. I actually, so growing up, I had two big passions. It was music and fitness. Really, fitness is more of a fascination because, again, my father, he was a figure competitor in South America, and then he was trying to get into that in the U.S. when we moved to the U.S. But I used to see him working out at the gym and lifting weights, and I was never really allowed to because they didn't know, what happens if girls or teenage girls, young ladies, lift weights. We can't let you do that. But I always was fascinated with the human physique and exercise and the effect of nutrition in the body and all that. So I actually studied. I got my bachelor's degree in health and exercise science. So, but now it's something that just supports what I really want, which is to be like this high energy, healthy, impactful entertainer. And aside from that, so let's see, I love being in nature. I'm actually out here right next to the cliffs right now. The ocean's right next to me. I love being around animals. I love all kinds of crazy exotic animals. Horseback riding, um, and just going on different adventures with the kids. I would really love to travel more with the family. That's one of the things that we want to do more.
And what you like the most about being a parent?
Oh man, what do I like the most? That is, I don't think anybody's asked me that before. Huh. Usually it's like, what's the hardest thing about being a parent?
Oh, what do you enjoy? Trying to focus on the positive side of life.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I enjoy, what I really enjoy is seeing them be free. I love, and like my 4-year-old, for example, she hasn't been told that she's like too much, or she shouldn't do that, or she shouldn't dance, or she shouldn't sing. Sometimes I tell her to turn the volume down a little bit because she's a little bit, she can get a little crazy. But she's just so free, and she gives herself permission to do what she wants to do. I'm not talking about, coloring on the toilet. Um, she also does stuff like that. And then I tell her, we don't do that. But I really enjoy seeing their freedom and their expression of themselves. And what's really cool is when, especially my older kids, because they can actually communicate this to me, when they tell me that seeing me do what I do inspires them to be more themselves.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, this whole thing is just about everyone fully owning who they are. And when I see my kids doing that, that's the best thing.
And then how can somebody like could you do life coaching too? Is what you're saying?
I do one-on-one coaching. So I have done retreats and events and transformational, events, things like that. But I'm not doing that right now. It takes a lot of energy and planning and focus. So I just work with a small number of personal clients.
But how did you get into that?
Well, because I needed it. I got into it because I was searching and I stumbled upon it. Um, and it was really to help myself. And then as I was learning this stuff, it was really awesome and empowering, and obviously, impacting other people, to coach others. And it further, reinforces what I've learned for myself. You know how they say when you teach something to somebody else, or you share it with somebody, or you can help them through the similar thing, you're getting it more yourself. Um, and it was honestly, it was like our financial support for our family for a while. I was the sole provider for several years while my
How,
husband was going through this stuff.
I guess like so. How did you go about getting the clients though?
Um, Traditional ways, networking events, word of mouth, connecting with people on LinkedIn, putting myself out there. I wrote a few books. Um, I have a whole brand for moms called the Sexy Mama Movement, and a lot of that came through that, and through just being around business owners and people of influence.
Because even with me, like I noticed, like I feel like anytime, like especially they're a coach or something like that, I feel like I don't know, always like they gotta look the part. So I know like some people like they'll say that they're a coach, they're a life coach, and then they're overweight. So I'm like, how are you a life
Yeah,
coach?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
There's
So it's
the
like it's
integrity
like
has got to be there.
yeah, like for me, it's like if I'm gonna go to you for coaching, I need to see like your shit need to be on point, and I need to see like everything, not like because that's to me about life is the whole balance, not just like you're selling in one area. Because even
Yeah.
like yeah, because like even stuff like me, like if I see like sometimes you see doctors that's overweight, and that shit's stupid to me too. It's like you're a
That's
doctor,
what my
like
husband says all the time. He's like, I'm not gonna listen to this doctor. He's like,
yeah,
taking care
so
of himself.
yeah, so it's like stuff like that. So it's like I think sometimes, like you said, I think we get caught up sometimes into just thinking we need somebody. Well, I was gonna ask you this question, but I guess I'll go into it a little bit. But I was gonna ask you like, what are some of your philosophies you believe in? But I feel like one of my philosophies is like everything we have the answers to everything inside of us. We just got to
Yes.
find it. But we
Yep.
always thinking we got to go outside of ourselves to get answers to stuff.
Yeah. Well, and then we're looking for someone to save us and give us the answers. And that, so speaking of philosophies, that's something that I learned really quickly on from my favorite and most, the coach that influenced me the most and trained me the most is, don't try to fix people. They might be looking for someone to fix things in their lives, for a savior in essence. And he says, don't be that for them. All real coaching, actual coaching, in my understanding of it and my practice of it, is mirroring. You tell me this is what's going on. And I believe that you have all the answers in you already. You already know what to do. You already know what you want. It's just sometimes it gets so clouded and cluttered and like in all the noise of what everybody else is telling you, or what you think you should do, or what you're afraid to do, or the one time that you did that thing and you failed, and the shame and all that stuff, all that stuff is what clouds it. So I think the real power of coaching is just having someone mirror with an outside perspective, like helping you see your own blind spots by asking questions and helping you open, your mind to like explore different possibilities. So I didn't really ever subscribe to that whole. There's a whole style of coaching too, which I'm sure you're familiar with, where someone just kind of lays out for you. Here's what you do, and that just wasn't me. And I would tell my clients, like, I will not tell you what to do. I'm gonna ask you, and then you're gonna make a commitment to something, and it's all about their vision.
Then I realized with me, it's like, I think the number one thing I like doing meditation and just reflecting.
Yeah.
I notice, like, when I'm just like going and going and going and I don't slow down, it's like kind of don't know where you're going. So sometimes you just got to just stop. And then the one thing I'm noticing, like, okay, this is the one thing. It's like, okay, like people always think, like, which is true, you need action to get somewhere. But before the action, I think that you need to have the right thinking in place. So it's like if I say I want to be rich, yeah, I can go out and get a job and shit and start working on getting a job. But before I do that, I feel like you have to start thinking like you're rich. Because once it's like you have to put the mindset first, then the action. So that's what I'm trying to do. That's like my goal. So I don't, like I said, I don't. Like I even tell myself now, like I'm gonna be rich, but I'm not gonna be working hard for it. Like I don't want to be like, oh, you gotta work hard for money. No, I want the money just to flow in my life. I don't want to be like even working hard.
So it's all about alignment, and then when you're in alignment, you get inspired to take action. And instead of just hustling for the sake of hustling, I don't believe in that anymore. I used to do that mostly because it kept me busy enough so that I didn't have to think about what really wasn't working in my life and the pain and all of the stuff that I was trying to cover up, that hurt from my past.
Yeah, I think that's like kind of what they teach, like minorities. Just like I know I was learning like talk like that. It's like you just work hard. Like, but nah, you play smarter. Yeah, and
like a badge of honor,
right. Yep.
Yeah. But who says that? So it's just challenging all these beliefs. And, that's another thing about coaching too, is whenever I started getting coached, it was really huge impact in that area. Because I'm like, oh, why do I believe that? Like, what? Who said that? Who said that? Who said it had to be like that?
Even by religion, I was kind of like, I took it back. I was like, why do I believe what I believe? And then I kind of just came to the conclusion, like, okay, I believe what I believe because my mom believed that, her mom believed that, her mom believed that. So I was like, that's not right. So, you kind of got to just...
Yeah, you got to find your own...
Critical thinking. Be a critical thinker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I totally hear you on that.
I appreciate you coming through politicking with me.
Thanks for having me.
No doubt. You got any anybody you want to shout out, anything?
Well, yeah, actually, you know what? I just released a single last week. Was it last week? I think it was last week. The days, I have a weird concept of time. I think it was last week, October 13th. And it's just in time for Halloween. It's called Dream. But if you go to lucilampe.com, we've got all the up-to-date stuff there. And there will be some surprise singles and possibly something in the next few weeks. I'm not going to say too much about that.
All right. And anybody if anybody just listening about you, hearing about you from this interview, why should they go check you out?
Oh, man, because, I think everybody wants a little bit of inspiration and positivity and just permission to be yourself. Like, just come watch, even if you're just going to be entertained and be like, who the fuck is this lady? And, and I'll look forward to having you guys in this crazy little savage tribe we're building.
PoPolitickin.com